Once upon a time, in the ancient lands of Greece, where the sun painted the sky with hues of gold and the sea whispered secrets to the wind, there existed a world unlike any other. It was a world where gods walked among mortals, where heroes embarked on epic quests, and where every mountain, river, and forest held a story waiting to be told. In this enchanted realm, Greek mythology was not just a collection of tales, it was the very fabric of society, woven into the hearts and minds of its people. And oh, what stories they were! Stories of love and betrayal, of courage and cowardice, of triumph and tragedy. These myths were more than entertainment, they were a mirror reflecting the human experience in all its glory and frailty. Imagine, if you will, a young shepherd sitting by the fire, his eyes wide with wonder as an elder weaves a tale of mighty Zeus, ruler of the heavens, and cunning Hera, queen of the gods. With every word, the shepherd is transported to Mount Olympus, where gods and goddesses reign supreme, their laughter echoing through the clouds. But Greek mythology was not just about gods and goddesses, it was also about mortal heroes who dared to defy fate and challenge the gods themselves. Picture a brave warrior, clad in armor forged by Hephaestus, standing before the gates of Troy, his heart pounding with anticipation as he prepares to face the mighty Hector in battle. It is heroes like Achilles, Odysseus, and Perseus who remind us that even the greatest of challenges can be overcome with courage and determination. And then there were the monsters, creatures born of chaos and darkness, lurking in the shadows, waiting to test the mettle of mortal heroes. From the ferocious Hydra to the riddling Sphinx, these beasts embodied the fears and uncertainties of the human psyche, challenging heroes to confront their inner demons and emerge victorious. But perhaps the true magic of Greek mythology lies not in its gods or heroes, but in its ability to transcend time and space, leaving an indelible mark on the tapestry of human culture. Consider the words of Homer, whose epic poems, the Iliad and the Odyssey, have captivated audiences for millennia, inspiring countless works of art, literature, and music. Or think of the great philosophers, Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, whose teachings were infused with the wisdom of the ancients, drawing upon the myths of old to explore the deepest mysteries of existence. Even in modern times, Greek mythology continues to exert its influence, from the constellations in the night sky to the names of planets in distant galaxies. In the end, Greek mythology is more than just a collection of stories, it is a testament to the power of the human imagination, a beacon of hope in a world filled with darkness. It reminds us that we are not alone, that our struggles and triumphs are part of a larger cosmic drama, played out on the stage of eternity. And so, as we journey through the labyrinth of time, let us never forget the lessons of the past, the stories that have shaped us into who we are today. For in the heart of every myth lies a truth waiting to be discovered, a truth that speaks to the very essence of what it means to be human. In the realm of storytelling, there existed a treasure trove of myths and legends that captured the hearts and imaginations of people across the ages. These were the tales of Greek mythology, a rich tapestry of gods, heroes, and monsters that danced across the pages of history like stars in the night sky. Imagine, if you will, a gathering of storytellers under the canopy of a starlit sky, their voices rising and falling like the ebb and flow of the ocean. Among them stands a wise old sage, his eyes twinkling with mischief as he beckons you closer, promising to take you on a journey unlike any other. Welcome, my friends, to the wondrous world of Greek mythology, he begins, his voice a melody that stirs the soul. Here, amidst the ruins of ancient temples and the whispers of the wind, we will embark on a grand adventure, a journey through time and space, guided by the hand of fate itself. And so, dear listener, let us set forth on this epic quest, our hearts filled with anticipation and wonder. Our mission? To explore the majesty and mystery of Greek mythology, to unravel the secrets of the gods and heroes who dwell within its hallowed halls. But where shall we begin, you ask? Ah, fear not, for I have charted a course that will lead us through the very heart of this enchanted realm. Our path shall wind through the heavens, where mighty Zeus reigns supreme, casting thunderbolts from his lofty throne. We shall tread the sacred earth, where heroes like Heracles and Perseus once walked, their deeds echoing through the ages like the songs of sirens. And what of the myths that populate this ancient landscape, you wonder? Ah, my friends, prepare yourselves for tales of love and loss, of courage and cowardice, of gods and mortals locked in an eternal dance of destiny. We shall witness the birth of the world itself, born from the primordial chaos that preceded all creation. We shall stand in awe before the Titans, ancient beings of immense power and wisdom who once ruled over the cosmos with an iron fist. But our journey does not end there, for we must also confront the monsters that lurk in the shadows, waiting to ensnare unwary travelers in their deadly embrace. From the ferocious Hydra to the cunning Sphinx, these creatures embody the fears and desires of humanity, challenging us to overcome our darkest impulses and emerge victorious. And so, dear friends, let us embark on this grand adventure together, our spirits soaring on the wings of imagination. For in the world of Greek mythology, anything is possible, and every story is a doorway to another world, a world of wonder, of magic, and of boundless possibility. So come, join me on this journey of a lifetime, and together, we shall discover the true meaning of myth and legend. In the beginning, before time had even begun to dance its eternal waltz, there was only chaos. Picture a vast expanse of darkness, swirling and churning like the depths of the ocean. Chaos was the mother of all things, the primordial void from which the universe would one day spring forth. But chaos was not alone in the void, for within her bosom lay the seeds of creation itself. And so it was that from the darkness emerged Gaia, the Earth Mother, her form as ancient as time itself. Gaia gazed out upon the endless expanse of chaos and felt a stirring within her, a longing to bring order to the chaos, to shape the formless void into something beautiful and wondrous. And so, with a mighty roar that shook the heavens and the earth, Gaia gave birth to Uranus, the starry sky above. He was her mate, her counterpart, the yang to her yin. Together, they danced the cosmic dance of creation, their love giving birth to the very fabric of the universe. But Uranus was not content to simply bask in the glory of his creation. He hungered for power, for dominion over all that he surveyed. And so it was that he ruled the heavens with an iron fist, casting his gaze down upon the earth below with a mixture of awe and disdain. Yet Gaia, in her wisdom, knew that the balance of power must be maintained, lest the universe descend into chaos once more. And so she conspired with her children, the Titans, to overthrow Uranus and seize control of the heavens for themselves. The Titans were mighty beings, born of earth and sky, their strength matched only by their cunning. Led by Cronus, the youngest and most ambitious of Gaia's children, they waged war against Uranus and his legions, their battle cries echoing through the heavens like thunder. And in the end, it was Cronus who emerged victorious, his blade stained with the blood of his father. With Uranus vanquished, the Titans ascended to the throne of the heavens, their reign unchallenged and absolute. But as the Titans reveled in their newfound power, a darkness began to stir within the heart of Cronus. He had tasted the sweet nectar of victory, and it had poisoned his soul with greed and ambition. And so it was that he turned his gaze upon his own children, fearing that they too would one day rise up against him. And thus began the tragic saga of the Titans, a tale of betrayal and redemption, of gods and monsters locked in an eternal struggle for supremacy. But that, my friends, is a story for another time. For now, let us bask in the glory of creation, and the beauty of a universe born from the union of chaos and Gaia, and let us give thanks to the Titans, the first children of the cosmos, for their sacrifice and their courage. In the celestial halls of Mount Olympus, there existed a pantheon of mighty beings known as the Titans. These ancient beings, born of earth and sky, were the children of Gaia and Uranus, the primordial deities who had shaped the very fabric of the universe. Among them stood heroes and villains, gods and monsters, each with a story to tell and a destiny to fulfill. At the head of the Titans stood Cronus, the youngest and most ambitious of Gaia's children. With his mighty blade in hand, he had vanquished his father Uranus and seized control of the heavens, casting his gaze down upon the earth below with a mixture of awe and arrogance. But beneath his veneer of power lay a heart consumed by fear, a fear that his own children would one day rise up against him as he had risen against his father. Beside Cronus stood Rhea, his sister and his wife, a goddess of unparalleled beauty and grace. She had borne him many children, each one a testament to their love and their lust for power. But as the years passed and Cronus's paranoia grew, Rhea found herself torn between her loyalty to her husband and her love for her children. Among the Titans stood Oceanus, the mighty river god whose waters spanned the breadth of the earth. He was the eldest of the Titans, wise and ancient beyond measure, his voice a gentle whisper that could calm even the wildest storm. Oceanus was a guardian of the seas, a protector of all life that dwelled within its depths, and his presence brought solace to all who beheld him. And then there was Hyperion, the Titan of light, whose radiance illuminated the heavens and banished the darkness from the world. He was a being of pure energy and vitality, his laughter like the tinkling of bells and his smile like the dawn breaking over the horizon. Hyperion was beloved by all who knew him, for his warmth and his generosity knew no bounds. But not all of the Titans were so benevolent. There was also Crius, the Titan of constellations, whose cold and calculating gaze pierced the heavens like 1,000 stars. He was a master of strategy and deception, his mind a labyrinth of secrets and lies. Crius was feared by all who crossed his path, for his wrath was as fierce as the fires of Olympus itself. And so it was that the Titans ruled over the heavens and the earth, their power unmatched and their dominion absolute. But little did they know that their reign would soon come to an end, for lurking in the shadows was a threat unlike any they had ever faced, a threat that would shake the very foundations of the universe and usher in a new era of gods and heroes. But that, my friends, is a tale for another time. For now, let us bask in the glory of the Titans, those ancient beings whose stories echo through the halls of eternity, and let us give thanks for the light they have brought into our lives, even in the darkest of times. In the celestial realm of Mount Olympus, a fierce battle raged, a battle that would shape the destiny of the cosmos itself. It was the Titanomachy, an epic clash between the mighty Titans and the upstart Olympian gods for control of the heavens and the earth. This was a war of gods and monsters, of heroes and villains, the likes of which the world had never seen. The Titans, ancient beings of immense power and wisdom, had long ruled over the cosmos with an iron fist. But their reign was not without challengers, for the Olympian gods, led by the indomitable Zeus, had grown tired of living in the shadow of their forebears. They hungered for power, for glory, and they would stop at nothing to claim what they believed was rightfully theirs. And so it was that the Titans and the Olympian gods clashed in a titanic struggle that shook the very foundations of the universe. Thunderbolts crashed through the heavens, earthquakes rent the earth asunder, and the cries of gods and monsters echoed through the heavens like the lamentations of the damned. At the forefront of the battle stood Zeus, his lightning bolt held aloft like a beacon of hope in the darkness. With every strike, he unleashed the fury of the heavens upon his foes, his wrath as fierce as the storm itself. But even the mighty Zeus could not defeat the Titans alone, and so he called upon his siblings, Poseidon, god of the seas, and Hades, lord of the underworld, to stand by his side in battle. Together, the Olympian gods fought with valor and determination, their courage inspiring all who beheld them. Poseidon summoned great tidal waves to drown his enemies, while Hades unleashed hordes of restless souls from the depths of Tartarus to sow chaos and confusion among the Titans' ranks. And Zeus, with his mighty thunderbolt, struck fear into the hearts of his foes, his fury unmatched by any who dared to oppose him. But the Titans were not so easily defeated, for they were ancient beings of immense power and wisdom. Led by Cronus, their former king, they rallied their forces and fought back with all the strength and cunning at their disposal. The earth trembled beneath their feet as they clashed with the Olympian gods, their roars of defiance shaking the very heavens. And so the battle raged on, each side locked in a struggle for supremacy that seemed destined to consume the entire cosmos. But in the end, it was the Olympian gods who emerged victorious, their valor and determination overcoming even the mightiest of foes. With a final, thunderous clash, Zeus unleashed his full fury upon Cronus, striking him down with a bolt of lightning that rent the sky asunder. And as the fallen Titan lay defeated at his feet, Zeus proclaimed himself the new ruler of the heavens and the earth, his victory complete. But even as the dust settled and the echoes of battle faded into memory, the scars of the Titanomachy remained etched upon the fabric of the universe. For though the Olympian gods had emerged triumphant, they knew that their victory had come at a great cost, a cost that would be paid in blood and tears for generations to come. And so, as the sun set on the battlefield and the stars twinkled in the night sky, the Olympian gods stood victorious, their hearts heavy with the weight of their victory. But they knew that their journey was far from over, for even as they celebrated their triumph, they knew that new challenges and new foes awaited them on the horizon. But that, my friends, is a tale for another time. For now, let us bask in the glory of the Olympian gods, those mighty beings who fought with valor and determination to shape the destiny of the cosmos itself. And let us give thanks for their bravery and their sacrifice, for without them, the world would be a much darker and more dangerous place. In the realm of Mount Olympus, there existed a pantheon of 12 mighty gods and goddesses, known as the Olympians. These celestial beings were the rulers of the heavens and the earth, each one wielding powers beyond mortal comprehension. But behind their divine masks lay stories of love and betrayal, of triumph and tragedy, that would captivate the hearts and minds of mortals for generations to come. Imagine, if you will, the grandeur of Olympus, its towering peaks piercing the clouds, its halls filled with the laughter of gods and the shimmering light of eternal fires. At the head of this celestial court stood Zeus, king of the gods, his thunderbolt held aloft like a scepter of power. With his mighty roar, he commanded the skies and the earth, his authority unchallenged and his wrath unmatched. Beside Zeus stood Hera, queen of the gods, her beauty as radiant as the sun itself. She was a goddess of marriage and family, her heart overflowing with love for her husband and her children. But beneath her serene exterior lay a fiery spirit, a spirit that would brook no betrayal and tolerate no disrespect. And then there was Poseidon, god of the seas, whose trident could command the waves and stir the depths of the ocean. He was a being of immense power and fury, his wrath as fierce as the storms that ravaged the open sea. Yet beneath his tempestuous exterior lay a love for the creatures of the deep, a love that drove him to protect them with all his might. But the Olympian pantheon was not just a collection of gods, it was also home to a host of goddesses, each one as powerful and as beautiful as the next. There was Demeter, goddess of the harvest, whose gentle touch could bring life to the barren earth and nourishment to its people. She was a guardian of the land, a protector of all who dwelled upon it, and her presence brought warmth and abundance to all who beheld her. And then there was Athena, goddess of wisdom and warfare, whose keen intellect and strategic prowess made her a force to be reckoned with on the battlefield. She was a patron of heroes and scholars, her wisdom guiding them through the trials and tribulations of mortal life. Yet beneath her stern exterior lay a heart filled with compassion, a heart that yearned to see justice prevail in a world filled with chaos and strife. But the Olympian pantheon was not without its darker elements, for there were also gods and goddesses who embodied the more primal aspects of human nature. There was Ares, god of war, whose bloodlust knew no bounds and whose thirst for battle was insatiable. He was a being of pure rage and destruction, his very presence striking fear into the hearts of mortals and immortals alike. And then there was Aphrodite, goddess of love and beauty, whose charms could ensnare even the most noble of hearts. She was a temptress and a seductress, her beauty a weapon that she wielded with deadly precision. Yet beneath her captivating exterior lay a vulnerability that made her both powerful and fragile in equal measure. But amidst the chaos and the conflict, there were also gods and goddesses who embodied the more creative and constructive aspects of human nature. There was Hephaestus, god of fire and craftsmanship, whose skill with the forge was unmatched by any other. He was a master artisan, his hands capable of shaping metal and stone into works of art that would endure for eternity. And then there was Hermes, messenger of the gods, whose fleetness of foot and silver tongue made him the perfect ambassador between Olympus and the mortal world. He was a trickster and a thief, his laughter echoing through the halls of Olympus like the ringing of bells. Yet beneath his mischievous exterior lay a heart of gold, a heart that yearned to bring joy and laughter to all who crossed his path. And finally, there was Hestia, goddess of the hearth, whose gentle presence brought warmth and comfort to the halls of Olympus. She was a keeper of the sacred flame, a guardian of the home, and her presence was a beacon of hope in a world filled with darkness and despair. And so, dear friends, let us pay homage to the 12 Olympian gods and goddesses, those mighty beings who rule over the heavens and the earth with wisdom and grace. for in their stories lie the very essence of what it means to be human, to love and to laugh, to fight and to forgive. And let us give thanks for their guidance and their protection, for without them, the world would be a much darker and more dangerous place. In the enchanted realm of Mount Olympus, each of the 12 Olympian gods and goddesses held sway over a domain as vast and varied as the heavens themselves. Their stories were woven into the fabric of Greek culture, their symbols and myths echoing through the ages like the whispers of the wind. Let us embark on a journey to discover the individual profiles of these celestial beings, each one a shining star in the tapestry of Greek mythology. First, let us turn our gaze to Zeus, king of the gods and ruler of the heavens. His domain was that of the sky and the thunder, his mighty thunderbolt capable of shaking the very foundations of the earth. Zeus was a symbol of power and authority, his eagle and lightning bolt representing his dominion over the skies. But beneath his regal exterior lay a heart filled with compassion, a heart that yearned to protect and nurture all who dwelled beneath his watchful gaze. Next, let us meet Hera, queen of the gods and goddess of marriage and family. Her domain was that of the home and the hearth, her peacock and scepter symbols of her regal authority. Hera was a guardian of the sanctity of marriage, her wrath legendary among mortals and immortals alike. But beneath her stern exterior lay a love as fierce as any, a love that bound her to Zeus and to her children with unbreakable bonds of devotion. Now, let us turn our attention to Poseidon, god of the seas and master of the waves. His domain was that of the ocean and all its creatures, his trident symbolizing his power over the depths. Poseidon was a force of nature, his wrath capable of unleashing storms that could swallow ships whole. But beneath his tempestuous exterior lay a love for the creatures of the sea, a love that drove him to protect them with all his might. Moving on, let us meet Demeter, goddess of the harvest and bringer of abundance. Her domain was that of the earth and all its bounty, her wheat and cornucopia symbols of her fertility and generosity. Demeter was a guardian of the land, her gentle touch capable of bringing life to the barren earth. But beneath her gentle exterior lay a grief as deep as the ocean, a grief born from the loss of her beloved daughter Persephone to the underworld. Now, let us journey to Athena, goddess of wisdom and warfare, whose domain was that of strategy and intellect. Her symbols were the owl and the olive tree, representing her wisdom and her peaceful nature. Athena was a patron of heroes and scholars, her guidance guiding them through the trials and tribulations of mortal life. But beneath her stern exterior lay a heart filled with compassion, a heart that yearned to see justice prevail in a world filled with chaos and strife. Next, let us meet Apollo, god of the sun and the arts, whose domain was that of music, poetry, and prophecy. His symbols were the lyre and the laurel wreath, representing his mastery of the arts and his prophetic powers. Apollo was a bringer of light and enlightenment, his music capable of soothing even the most troubled soul. But beneath his radiant exterior lay a darkness born from the knowledge of his own mortality and the burden of his divine responsibilities. Now, let us turn our attention to Artemis, goddess of the hunt and protector of the wilderness. Her domain was that of the forest and the moon, her bow and arrow symbols of her skill and her independence. Artemis was a guardian of the natural world, her fierce spirit capable of driving off any who would dare to harm her beloved creatures. But beneath her wild exterior lay a vulnerability born from the knowledge that she was forever apart from the mortal world she so dearly loved. Moving on, let us meet Ares, god of war and embodiment of violence and chaos. His domain was that of conflict and bloodshed, his sword and shield symbols of his martial prowess. Ares was a bringer of destruction, his wrath capable of laying waste to entire armies with a single stroke. But beneath his savage exterior lay a longing for acceptance, a longing born from the knowledge that he was forever condemned to be an outsider among the gods. Next, let us journey to Aphrodite, goddess of love and beauty, whose domain was that of desire and passion. Her symbols were the dove and the rose, representing her gentle nature and her seductive allure. Aphrodite was a bringer of joy and ecstasy, her beauty capable of captivating even the most hardened heart. But beneath her radiant exterior lay a vulnerability born from the knowledge that her beauty was both a blessing and a curse, a gift that brought her as much pain as it did pleasure. Now, let us turn our attention to Hephaestus, god of fire and craftsmanship, whose domain was that of the forge and the anvil. His symbols were the hammer and the anvil, representing his skill and his creativity. Hephaestus was a master artisan, his hands capable of shaping metal and stone into works of art that would endure for eternity. But beneath his rugged exterior lay a heart filled with longing, a longing born from the knowledge that he would never be truly accepted among the gods. Moving on, let us meet Hermes, messenger of the gods and guide of souls, whose domain was that of travel and communication. His symbols were the caduceus and the winged sandals, representing his swiftness and his agility. Hermes was a bringer of news and tidings, his laughter echoing through the halls of Olympus like the ringing of bells. But beneath his mischievous exterior lay a heart of gold, a heart that yearned to bring joy and laughter to all who crossed his path. And finally, let us journey to Hestia, goddess of the hearth and keeper of the sacred flame. Her domain was that of the home and the family, her hearth and fire symbols of her warmth and hospitality. Hestia was a guardian of the home, her gentle presence bringing comfort and solace to all who dwelled within its walls. But beneath her serene exterior lay a strength as solid as the earth itself, a strength born from the knowledge that she was the heart and soul of Olympus, the keeper of its flame and the guardian of its secrets. And so, dear friends, let us pay homage to the 12 Olympian gods and goddesses, those mighty beings who rule over the heavens and the earth with wisdom and grace. For in their stories lie the very essence of what it means to be human, to love and to laugh, to fight and to forgive. And let us give thanks for their guidance and their protection, for without them, the world would be a much darker and more dangerous place. In the celestial realm of Mount Olympus, there existed a royal couple whose love and strife echoed throughout the heavens. They were Zeus, king of the gods, and Hera, queen of Olympus, whose relationship was as tumultuous as it was enduring. Their story, woven into the fabric of Greek mythology, is a tale of love and betrayal, of loyalty and jealousy, that has captivated the hearts and minds of mortals for centuries. Let us begin our journey with Zeus, the mighty king of the gods, whose thunderous roar could shake the very foundations of the earth. He was a being of immense power and authority, his lightning bolt capable of striking down any who dared to oppose him. But beneath his regal exterior lay a heart filled with longing, a longing for love and companionship that no amount of power could ever satisfy. Zeus's heart belonged to Hera, queen of Olympus, whose beauty and grace were legendary throughout the heavens. She was a goddess of marriage and family, her devotion to Zeus unwavering despite his countless dalliances with mortal women. But beneath her serene exterior lay a heart filled with pain, a pain born from the knowledge that she could never truly possess the heart of the man she loved. Their relationship was a complex dance of love and betrayal, loyalty and jealousy, that played out against the backdrop of the celestial court. Zeus's infidelities were well known to all, his countless affairs with mortal women sparking Hera's wrath time and time again. Yet despite her anger and her hurt, Hera could never bring herself to leave Zeus, for her love for him was as fierce as it was enduring. But beneath the surface of their tumultuous relationship lay a deeper truth, that Zeus and Hera were bound together by fate, their destinies intertwined in ways that even the gods themselves could not comprehend. For it was Hera who stood by Zeus's side through countless trials and tribulations, her unwavering loyalty a testament to the strength of their bond. And so, despite their many disagreements and their occasional betrayals, Zeus and Hera remained united as king and queen of Olympus, their love for each other as enduring as the heavens themselves. For in the end, it was their love that held the celestial court together, their bond a beacon of hope in a world filled with chaos and strife. But Zeus and Hera were not the only ones whose relationships shaped the destiny of Olympus. Among the Olympians, there existed a complex web of alliances and rivalries, friendships and feuds, that played out against the backdrop of the celestial court. There was Athena, goddess of wisdom and warfare, whose bond with her father Zeus was as strong as it was tumultuous. She was a fierce defender of Olympus, her wisdom guiding her father through the trials and tribulations of ruling the heavens. But beneath her stern exterior lay a vulnerability born from the knowledge that she could never truly know her father's heart. And then there was Apollo, god of the sun and the arts, whose bond with his sister Artemis was unbreakable. They were the twin children of Zeus and Leto, their love for each other as bright as the sun itself. Apollo was a bringer of light and enlightenment, his music capable of soothing even the most troubled soul. But beneath his radiant exterior lay a darkness born from the knowledge that he could never truly escape his destiny as a god. But perhaps the most complex relationship of all was that between Zeus and his siblings, Poseidon and Hades, lords of the seas and the underworld respectively. They were the children of Cronus and Rhea, Zeus's parents, their bond forged in the fires of war and tempered by the trials of ruling their respective domains. Poseidon was a force of nature, his wrath capable of unleashing storms that could swallow ships whole. But beneath his tempestuous exterior lay a love for the creatures of the sea, a love that drove him to protect them with all his might. And then there was Hades, lord of the underworld, whose bond with his brothers was as strong as it was fraught with tension. He was a bringer of death and darkness, his realm shrouded in shadows that concealed the secrets of the dead. But beneath his stoic exterior lay a loneliness born from the knowledge that he would forever be separated from the world above. And so, dear friends, let us marvel at the complexity of the relationships among the Olympian gods and goddesses, those mighty beings whose love and strife shaped the destiny of the cosmos itself. For in their stories lie the very essence of what it means to be human, to love and to hate, to fight and to forgive. And let us give thanks for their guidance and their protection, for without them, the world would be a much darker and more dangerous place. In the timeless tapestry of Greek mythology, amidst the grandeur of Mount Olympus and the drama of the gods, there existed a pantheon of mortal heroes whose deeds echoed through the ages like the thunderous roar of Zeus's thunderbolt. These were the champions of humanity, the demigods whose courage and strength captured the hearts and imaginations of mortals and immortals alike. Let us embark on a journey to discover the stories of these legendary figures, each one a shining star in the constellation of Greek heroism. Imagine, if you will, the rugged landscape of ancient Greece, where heroes roamed the land in search of adventure and glory. Among them stood Heracles, known to the Romans as Hercules, a mighty demigod whose strength knew no bounds. He was the son of Zeus and Alcmene, a mortal woman, his legend spanning the breadth of the known world. Heracles' story began with a prophecy, foretold by the Oracle of Delphi, that he would one day become the greatest hero the world had ever known. But his path to glory was not an easy one, for he faced countless trials and tribulations along the way. From slaying the Nemean lion to capturing the golden hind, from defeating the Hydra to cleansing the Augean stables, Heracles' deeds were as numerous as they were legendary. But it was his 12 labors that truly cemented his status as a hero of unparalleled renown. From battling the fearsome Hydra to capturing the elusive Cerberus, Heracles' trials tested his strength, his courage, and his resolve like never before. Yet through it all, he remained steadfast in his quest to prove himself worthy of his divine heritage. Next, let us turn our gaze to Perseus, the son of Zeus and Danae, whose legendary exploits are the stuff of legend. Born on the island of Seriphos, Perseus' life was forever changed when he set out on a quest to slay the fearsome Gorgon, Medusa. With the aid of Athena and Hermes, Perseus embarked on a perilous journey that would take him to the ends of the earth and back. Armed with a magical sword and shield, Perseus faced off against the Gorgon in her lair, his heart pounding with fear and excitement. But with a single stroke of his sword, he severed Medusa's head from her body, turning her into stone and claiming victory over one of the most fearsome monsters in all of Greek mythology. But Perseus' journey was far from over, for he soon found himself embroiled in a series of otherworldly adventures that would test his mettle and his courage to their limits. From rescuing Andromeda from the clutches of the sea monster, Cetus, to slaying the monstrous Gorgon, Perseus' exploits made him a hero to be remembered for all time. Now, let us turn our attention to Theseus, the son of King Aegeus of Athens, whose journey from humble beginnings to legendary heroism is a tale of courage, cunning, and destiny. As a young man, Theseus set out to prove himself worthy of his royal heritage, embarking on a series of adventures that would take him to the very heart of the labyrinth of Crete. With nothing but a ball of thread given to him by the princess Ariadne, Theseus entered the labyrinth and faced off against the fearsome Minotaur, a half-man, half-bull creature that had been terrorizing the people of Crete for generations. With his sword and his wits, Theseus defeated the Minotaur and emerged victorious, his name forever enshrined in the annals of Greek heroism. But Theseus's journey was far from over, for he soon found himself embroiled in a series of otherworldly adventures that would test his mettle and his courage to their limits. From defeating the Amazons to navigating the treacherous waters of the underworld, Theseus's exploits made him a hero to be remembered for all time. Next, let us journey to the distant land of Colchis, where we meet Jason, the son of King Aeson, whose quest for the Golden Fleece is one of the most famous stories in all of Greek mythology. With the aid of the sorceress Medea and a band of mighty heroes known as the Argonauts, Jason set sail on the ship Argo in search of the legendary artifact that would bring him fame and fortune beyond his wildest dreams. But the journey was fraught with danger at every turn, from battling the fearsome Harpies to outwitting the treacherous King Aetes of Colchis. Yet through it all, Jason remained steadfast in his quest, his determination unwavering even in the face of insurmountable odds. And finally, let us turn our gaze to Achilles, the mightiest of all Greek heroes, whose exploits on the battlefield of Troy are the stuff of legend. Born to the sea nymph Thetis and the mortal king Peleus, Achilles was destined for greatness from the moment of his birth. But it was his role in the Trojan War that would forever cement his status as a hero of unparalleled renown. With his divine armor and his mighty spear, Achilles led the Greek army to victory after victory, his skill and his bravery unmatched by any who dared to stand against him. But it was his tragic death at the hands of the Trojan prince Paris that would ultimately seal his fate, his name forever enshrined in the annals of Greek heroism. And so, dear friends, let us pay homage to these legendary heroes of Greek mythology, whose courage and strength inspired generations of mortals to reach for greatness. For in their stories lie the very essence of what it means to be human, to face adversity with courage and determination, to triumph in the face of overwhelming odds. And let us give thanks for their bravery and their sacrifice, for without them, the world would be a much darker and more dangerous place. In the realm of ancient Greece, there existed a pantheon of heroes whose exploits were the stuff of legend, their tales woven into the very fabric of Greek mythology. These were the champions of humanity, the demigods whose courage and strength inspired awe and admiration in mortals and immortals alike. Let us embark on a journey to explore the famous hero myths that have captivated the hearts and minds of generations, each one a testament to the power of the human spirit. Let us begin with the mighty Heracles, known to the Romans as Hercules, whose 12 labors are among the most famous feats in all of Greek mythology. Born to the mortal woman Alcmene and the king of the gods, Zeus, Heracles' destiny was forged in the fires of prophecy, foretold by the oracle of Delphi to become the greatest hero the world had ever known. His journey began with the slaying of the Nemean lion, a fearsome beast whose hide was impervious to mortal weapons. Armed with nothing but his bare hands and his wits, Heracles wrestled the lion into submission, strangling it with his own immense strength. From there, he went on to face even greater challenges, from capturing the golden hind to defeating the Hydra, from cleaning the Augean stables to retrieving the golden apples of the Hesperides. But it was his final labor, the capture of the three-headed hellhound Cerberus from the depths of the underworld, that truly tested Heracles' courage and resolve. With the aid of the gods, Heracles descended into the realm of Hades, where he faced off against the monstrous beast in a battle that shook the very foundations of the underworld itself. And though the task seemed impossible, Heracles emerged victorious, his legend forever enshrined in the annals of Greek heroism. Next, let us turn our gaze to Perseus, the son of Zeus and Danae, whose quest to slay the fearsome Gorgon Medusa is one of the most famous stories in all of Greek mythology. Born on the island of Seriphos, Perseus's life was forever changed when he set out on a quest to rescue the princess Andromeda from the clutches of the sea monster, Cetus. Armed with a magical sword and shield given to him by the gods, Perseus embarked on a perilous journey that would take him to the ends of the earth and back. With the aid of the goddess Athena and the messenger god Hermes, Perseus faced off against the Gorgon in her lair, his heart pounding with fear and excitement. But with a single stroke of his sword, he severed Medusa's head from her body, turning her into stone and claiming victory over one of the most fearsome monsters in all of Greek mythology. Now, let us journey to the labyrinth of Crete, where we meet Theseus, the son of King Aegeus of Athens, whose quest to slay the Minotaur is one of the most famous stories in all of Greek mythology. With nothing but a ball of thread given to him by the princess Ariadne, Theseus entered the labyrinth and faced off against the fearsome Minotaur, a half-man, half-bull creature that had been terrorizing the people of Crete for generations. With his sword and his wits, Theseus defeated the Minotaur and emerged victorious, his name forever enshrined in the annals of Greek heroism. But his journey was far from over, for he soon found himself embroiled in a series of otherworldly adventures that would test his mettle and his courage to their limits. Next, let us journey to the distant land of Colchis, where we meet Jason, the son of King Aeson, whose quest for the Golden Fleece is one of the most famous stories in all of Greek mythology. With the aid of the sorceress Medea and a band of mighty heroes known as the Argonauts, Jason set sail on the ship Argo in search of the legendary artifact that would bring him fame and fortune beyond his wildest dreams. But the journey was fraught with danger at every turn, from battling the fearsome Harpies to outwitting the treacherous King Aetes of Colchis. Yet through it all, Jason remained steadfast in his quest, his determination unwavering even in the face of insurmountable odds. And finally, let us turn our gaze to the Trojan War, the epic conflict that would shape the destiny of the ancient world. Born from a dispute between the goddesses Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite over who was the fairest of them all, the war raged for 10 long years, laying waste to cities and kingdoms alike. At the heart of the conflict stood Achilles, the mightiest of all Greek heroes, whose exploits on the battlefield of Troy are the stuff of legend. Armed with his divine armor and his in the vast tapestry of Greek mythology, amidst the gods and monsters, there exists a timeless pattern that transcends time and culture, the hero's journey. This archetype, deeply ingrained in the human psyche, is a powerful narrative framework that traces the path of a hero from humble beginnings to triumphant success. Let us embark on a journey to explore the hero's journey archetype and its manifestation in the rich tapestry of Greek mythology, where courage, sacrifice, and redemption await at every turn. Imagine, if you will, a young hero, born into humble circumstances, unaware of the great destiny that awaits him. This is the first stage of the hero's journey, the call to adventure. In Greek mythology, we see this archetype embodied in the stories of heroes like Heracles, Perseus, and Theseus, who are called upon to embark on epic quests that will test their courage and resolve. For Heracles, the call to adventure comes in the form of a prophecy foretelling his destiny to become the greatest hero the world has ever known. From the moment of his birth, Heracles' life is marked by trials and tribulations as he faces off against fearsome monsters and impossible odds in his quest to prove himself worthy of his divine heritage. Similarly, Perseus is called upon to embark on a perilous journey to slay the Gorgon Medusa and rescue the princess Andromeda from the clutches of a fearsome sea monster. Armed with nothing but his wits and a magical sword given to him by the gods, Perseus sets out to face his destiny and claim victory over the forces of darkness. And for Theseus, the call to adventure comes in the form of a challenge to slay the Minotaur and free the people of Athens from the tyranny of King Minos. With nothing but a ball of thread given to him by the princess Ariadne, Theseus enters the labyrinth and faces off against the fearsome beast in a battle that will test his courage and resolve to their limits. But the hero's journey does not end with the call to adventure. It is merely the beginning of a long and arduous quest that will take the hero to the very depths of his soul. Along the way, he will face countless trials and tribulations, from battles with fearsome monsters to encounters with treacherous villains, each one testing his courage and resolve in new and unexpected ways. In Greek mythology, we see this archetype played out in the stories of heroes like Jason and Achilles, whose journeys take them to the farthest reaches of the known world and beyond. From the treacherous waters of the Black Sea to the bloody battlefields of Troy, these heroes face off against impossible odds in their quest to fulfill their destinies and claim victory over the forces of darkness. But it is not just physical challenges that the hero must overcome, it is also the inner demons that threaten to consume him from within. For every hero, there comes a moment of crisis, a dark night of the soul where he must confront his deepest fears and doubts in order to emerge victorious. In the story of Achilles, this moment comes when he learns of his impending death on the battlefield of Troy. Faced with the knowledge that he will never return home to his beloved homeland of Greece, Achilles must confront his mortality and come to terms with the legacy he will leave behind. It is a moment of profound sorrow and despair, yet it is also a moment of clarity and redemption, as Achilles finds the courage to face his fate with dignity and grace. And so, the hero's journey comes full circle, as the hero emerges from his trials and tribulations, transformed by his experiences and ready to claim his rightful place among the gods. For in the end, it is not just the physical challenges that define the hero, but the inner journey of self-discovery and redemption that ultimately shapes his destiny. In Greek mythology, we see this archetype played out time and time again, as heroes like Heracles, Perseus, and Theseus embark on epic quests that will test their courage and resolve to their limits. From the call to adventure to the final confrontation with their inner demons, these heroes embody the timeless spirit of the hero's journey, inspiring generations of mortals to reach for greatness and claim victory over the forces of darkness. And though their journeys may be fraught with danger and despair, in the end, it is their courage, their strength, and their unwavering determination that will carry them through to triumph and redemption. In the enchanted realm of Greek mythology, where gods and mortals walked the earth side by side, love and desire were powerful forces that shaped the destinies of all who dwelled within its embrace. From the epic romances of gods and goddesses to the tragic love stories of mortals, the tales of love and desire in Greek mythology are as diverse and enchanting as the heavens themselves. Let us embark on a journey to explore these timeless tales, where passion and longing collide in a symphony of emotion and desire. Imagine, if you will, the majestic figure of Zeus, king of the gods, whose thunderous roar could shake the very foundations of the earth. He was a being of immense power and authority, his lightning bolt capable of striking down any who dared to oppose him. But beneath his regal exterior lay a heart filled with longing, a longing for love and companionship that no amount of power could ever satisfy. It was in this state of longing that Zeus first laid eyes upon Europa, a mortal woman of surpassing beauty whose very presence stirred his heart with desire. From the moment he saw her, Zeus was consumed by a passion unlike anything he had ever known, his every thought consumed by the desire to possess her for his own. And so, in a moment of divine deception, Zeus transformed himself into a magnificent white bull and approached Europa as she frolicked on the shores of the sea. Enchanted by his beauty and grace, Europa climbed upon his back, unaware of the true identity of her suitor. But as they journeyed across the sea, Zeus revealed his true form to Europa, and she was filled with both fear and desire at the sight of the mighty king of the gods. And though she resisted his advances at first, Europa soon found herself unable to resist the allure of Zeus's divine charms, and she surrendered herself to him completely. Their union produced 3 sons, who would go on to become the founders of great civilizations, but it was the love between Zeus and Europa that would forever be remembered as one of the greatest romances in all of Greek mythology. But Zeus was not the only god whose heart was stirred by mortal desire. For Poseidon, god of the seas, also fell deeply in love with a mortal woman named Amphitrite, whose beauty and grace captivated his heart from the moment he laid eyes upon her. Amphitrite was a sea nymph, beloved by all who knew her, but it was Poseidon who truly captured her heart with his wild and untamed spirit. From the depths of the ocean, Poseidon called out to Amphitrite, declaring his love for her and begging her to become his queen. At first, Amphitrite resisted Poseidon's advances, for she feared the power of the gods and the chaos that their love could unleash upon the world. But as Poseidon continued to pursue her with unwavering determination, Amphitrite found herself unable to resist his charms, and she surrendered herself to him completely. Their union brought about a new era of prosperity and abundance in the seas, as Poseidon and Amphitrite ruled together as king and queen of the oceans. And though their love was not without its challenges, it endured through the ages as a testament to the power of passion and desire in the world of the gods. But not all love stories in Greek mythology had a happy ending. For Apollo, god of the sun, fell deeply in love with a mortal woman named Daphne, whose beauty and grace were unmatched by any other. Daphne was a huntress, sworn to a life of celibacy and devotion to the goddess Artemis, but it was Apollo who captured her heart with his divine charm and radiant presence. From the moment he laid eyes upon her, Apollo was consumed by a passion unlike anything he had ever known, his every thought consumed by the desire to possess her for his own. But Daphne resisted Apollo's advances with all her strength, for she feared the consequences of defying the will of the gods and the chaos that their love could unleash upon the world. And so, in a moment of desperation, Daphne called out to her father, the river god Peneus, begging him to save her from Apollo's unwanted attentions. In response to her plea, Peneus transformed Daphne into a laurel tree, her skin turning to bark and her arms stretching out into branches that reached towards the sky. And though Apollo was devastated by the loss of his beloved, he found solace in the beauty of the laurel tree, which he declared sacred in honor of his lost love. And so, dear friends, let us marvel at the power of love and desire in Greek mythology, where gods and mortals alike are swept away by the irresistible force of passion and longing. For in their stories lie the very essence of what it means to be human, to love and to desire, to triumph in the face of adversity and to endure in the face of despair. And let us give thanks for the beauty and the wonder of the world around us, where love and desire are eternal flames that burn bright in the darkness of the night, in the enchanted realm of Greek mythology, where love and tragedy danced hand in hand. There existed tales of passion and longing that would echo through the ages. These were the stories of Orpheus and Eurydice, Pyramus and Thisbe, and Echo and Narcissus, each one a testament to the power of love and the depths of despair. Let us embark on a journey to retell these tragic love stories, where hearts are broken and tears are shed in the name of love. Imagine, if you will, the haunting melody of Orpheus's lyre as it fills the air with its sweet, melancholy strains. Orpheus was a gifted musician, beloved by all who heard his enchanting music, but it was his love for Eurydice that truly captured his heart. Eurydice was a beautiful nymph, her beauty unmatched by any other, and Orpheus was determined to make her his own. And so, with his lyre in hand, Orpheus wooed Eurydice with his sweet music, filling her heart with love and desire. But their happiness was short-lived, for tragedy struck on their wedding day when Eurydice was bitten by a venomous snake and died in Orpheus's arms. Distraught with grief, Orpheus descended into the depths of the underworld, determined to win back his beloved bride. With his lyre as his only weapon, Orpheus journeyed through the dark and treacherous realm of Hades, his heart filled with hope and despair in equal measure. And when he finally reached the throne of the god of the underworld, he played a song so haunting and beautiful that even the stone-hearted ruler of the dead was moved to tears. Moved by Orpheus's music, Hades agreed to grant him his request, on one condition, that he not look back at Eurydice until they had reached the surface of the earth. And so, with Eurydice trailing behind him, Orpheus began the long journey back to the world of the living, his heart filled with joy and anticipation. But as they neared the surface, Orpheus could no longer resist the urge to look back at his beloved bride, and in that moment of weakness, he lost her forever. For Eurydice vanished before his eyes, swallowed up by the darkness of the underworld, leaving Orpheus alone in his grief once more. Next, let us turn our gaze to the tragic tale of Pyramus and Thisbe, whose love was as pure and true as it was destined for tragedy. Pyramus was a handsome young man, and Thisbe was a beautiful maiden, and their love for each other knew no bounds. But their happiness was forbidden by their feuding families, who forbade them from seeing each other under pain of death. And so, Pyramus and Thisbe were forced to meet in secret, communicating through a small crack in the wall that separated their homes. But tragedy struck when they agreed to meet one night under the cover of darkness, only to be separated by a fierce lioness that roamed the countryside. In her haste to escape, Thisbe dropped her cloak, which the lioness tore to shreds with her razor-sharp claws. When Pyramus arrived at their meeting place and saw the bloody cloak lying on the ground, he assumed the worst and took his own life in despair. And when Thisbe arrived moments later and discovered her beloved dead, she too took her own life, unable to bear the thought of living without him. And so, in death as in life, Pyramus and Thisbe were united in love, their tragic tale serving as a warning to all who would dare to defy the will of fate. Finally, let us turn our gaze to the story of Echo and Narcissus, whose love was doomed from the very beginning. Echo was a beautiful nymph, her voice as sweet as honey, but she was cursed by the goddess Hera to only be able to repeat the words of others. Narcissus was a handsome young man, beloved by all who knew him, but he was cursed by the gods to fall in love with his own reflection. And so, when Narcissus stumbled upon Echo one day in the forest, he was entranced by her beauty and longed to hear her speak. But Echo could only repeat his words back to him, her own thoughts and feelings forever trapped inside her heart. And when Narcissus rejected her advances and turned his attention to his own reflection in a nearby pool, Echo was consumed by grief and despair. In her anguish, Echo wasted away until nothing was left of her but her voice, which echoed through the mountains and valleys for all eternity. And as for Narcissus, he too met a tragic end, for he was so enamored with his own reflection that he could not tear himself away from the pool, and he died gazing at his own image until the very end. And so, dear friends, let us marvel at the power of love and the depths of despair in these tragic tales from Greek mythology. For in their stories lie the very essence of what it means to be human, to love and to lose, to triumph in the face of adversity and to endure in the face of despair. And let us give thanks for the beauty and the wonder of the world around us, where love and tragedy are eternal flames that burn bright in the darkness of the night. In the timeless tales of Greek mythology, there exists a concept as old as humanity itself, a concept that speaks to the very heart of what it means to be human. This concept is hubris, a tragic flaw that leads to the downfall of even the mightiest heroes and the noblest of houses. Let us delve into the depths of this concept, exploring its role in tragic myths like that of Oedipus and the House of Atreus, where pride and arrogance give birth to unspeakable tragedy. Imagine, if you will, the mighty city of Thebes, ruled by a king whose arrogance knew no bounds. This king was Oedipus, a man of great intelligence and ambition, but also a man plagued by a fatal flaw, a flaw that would ultimately lead to his downfall. Oedipus's story began with a prophecy, foretold by the oracle of Delphi, that he would one day kill his father and marry his mother. Horrified by this revelation, Oedipus fled his homeland and vowed never to return, determined to defy the will of fate and forge his own destiny. But fate, it seems, had other plans, for on his journey, Oedipus encountered a group of travelers on the road to Thebes, including a man who he believed to be a stranger. Little did he know that this man was none other than his own father, King Laius, and in a fit of rage, Oedipus slew him, fulfilling the first part of the prophecy. Unaware of his true identity, Oedipus continued on his journey to Thebes, where he was hailed as a hero for freeing the city from the clutches of the Sphinx. And as a reward for his bravery, Oedipus was crowned king and given the hand of the widowed queen, Jocasta, in marriage. But as the years passed, Oedipus's pride and arrogance blinded him to the truth of his own identity, and it was not until he uncovered the horrifying truth of his past that he realized the full extent of his folly. For Oedipus was not only the killer of his father, but also the husband of his mother, and when Jocasta learned the truth of their relationship, she took her own life in despair. And so, Oedipus was left alone, his kingdom in ruins and his life in shambles, all because of his pride and arrogance, a tragic reminder of the dangers of hubris. But Oedipus was not the only tragic figure to be undone by his own arrogance. For in the house of Atreus, a curse as old as time itself lay waiting to claim its next victims, Agamemnon and his children. The story of the house of Atreus began with a betrayal, as Agamemnon's father, King Atreus, sought revenge against his brother, Thyestes, for seducing his wife and stealing his throne. In a cruel and calculated act of vengeance, Atreus slaughtered Thyestes' sons and served them to him as a feast, forever sealing the fate of his own house. But the curse of the house of Atreus did not end with Atreus himself, for his sons, Agamemnon and Menelaus, would go on to suffer the consequences of their father's sins. Agamemnon, in particular, was undone by his arrogance and ambition, as he sacrificed his own daughter, Iphigenia, to the gods in order to secure victory in the Trojan War. And when Agamemnon returned home victorious, he was met with betrayal and death at the hands of his own wife, Clytemnestra, who sought revenge for the murder of their daughter. In a fit of rage and despair, Clytemnestra slew Agamemnon in his own bath, forever staining the house of Atreus with blood and sorrow. But the tragedy did not end there, for Agamemnon's son, Orestes, would go on to commit patricide in order to avenge his father's death, perpetuating the cycle of violence and bloodshed that had plagued the house of Atreus for generations. And so, dear friends, let us heed the lessons of these tragic tales, where pride and arrogance lead to unspeakable tragedy and despair. For in the end, it is not the gods who condemn us to our fate, but our own hubris, the fatal flaw that lies dormant within us all, waiting to claim its next victim. In the mystical realm of Greek mythology, where gods and heroes clashed with fearsome beasts and monstrous creatures, there existed a pantheon of legendary monsters whose very name struck fear into the hearts of mortals. These were the creatures of legend, born from the chaos of the cosmos and destined to terrorize the world with their ferocity and power. Let us embark on a journey to discover these legendary monsters and creatures, whose tales are as captivating as they are terrifying. Picture, if you will, the Hydra, a serpent-like monster with multiple heads, each one capable of regenerating if severed from its body. This fearsome creature dwelled in the swamps of Lerna, where it lay in wait for unsuspecting travelers to stumble into its lair. Many brave heroes attempted to slay the Hydra, but few succeeded, for its heads grew back faster than they could be cut off, making it an almost unbeatable foe. One such hero who dared to face the Hydra was Heracles, the mighty son of Zeus. Armed with his trusty sword and his indomitable courage, Heracles descended into the depths of the swamp to confront the Hydra in battle. And though the creature put up a fierce fight, Heracles prevailed in the end, using fire to cauterize the stumps of its heads and prevent them from regenerating. With a mighty roar, Heracles emerged victorious, his name forever enshrined in the annals of Greek heroism. Next, let us turn our gaze to Cerberus, the hound of Hades, whose 3 heads guarded the gates of the underworld and prevented the souls of the dead from escaping. With eyes as red as fire and a voice that echoed through the halls of the dead, Cerberus was a terrifying sight to behold, striking fear into the hearts of all who dared to approach. But despite his fearsome appearance, Cerberus was not invincible, as the hero Heracles would soon discover. Tasked with capturing Cerberus as one of his 12 labors, Heracles descended into the underworld and faced off against the hound in a battle that shook the very foundations of the earth. Armed with nothing but his strength and his wits, Heracles subdued Cerberus and brought him back to the surface, where he presented him to King Eurystheus as proof of his victory. And though Cerberus returned to the underworld soon after, his defeat at the hands of Heracles served as a reminder of the hero's indomitable spirit and his ability to overcome even the most formidable of foes. Now, let us journey to the land of Lycia, where we encounter the Chimera, a monstrous creature with the body of a lion, the head of a goat, and the tail of a serpent. With flames spewing from its mouth and eyes that glowed with malevolent light, the Chimera was a terror to behold, striking fear into the hearts of all who crossed its path. But even the most fearsome of monsters can be brought down by a hero of extraordinary courage and skill. And so it was that Bellerophon, a mortal hero of unmatched bravery, set out to slay the Chimera and rid the land of its tyranny once and for all. Armed with his trusty spear and the winged horse Pegasus, Bellerophon soared into the skies to confront the Chimera in its mountain lair. With nerves of steel and a heart filled with determination, Bellerophon faced off against the monster in a battle that would test his courage and resolve to their limits. And though the Chimera fought with all its might, it was no match for the hero's skill and cunning. With a well-aimed thrust of his spear, Bellerophon struck the creature down, sending it crashing to the earth in a blaze of fire and smoke. And as the people of Lycia rejoiced at their deliverance, Bellerophon's name was forever enshrined in the annals of Greek heroism. But the Chimera was not the only fearsome creature to roam the lands of Greece. For in the city of Thebes, there dwelled a creature known as the Sphinx, a creature with the body of a lion, the wings of an eagle, and the face of a woman. With her riddles and enigmas, the Sphinx challenged all who approached her, offering death to those who could not answer her questions correctly. Many brave souls attempted to solve the Sphinx's riddles, but none succeeded until the arrival of Oedipus, the hero king of Thebes. Armed with his keen intellect and his unwavering determination, Oedipus faced off against the Sphinx in a battle of wits that would determine the fate of his city. And though the Sphinx posed her riddles with cunning and guile, Oedipus answered them all with ease, unraveling the mysteries of the Sphinx's mind and exposing her as a fraud. With a triumphant cry, Oedipus cast the Sphinx down from her perch, freeing the city of Thebes from her tyranny and earning the eternal gratitude of its people. Finally, let us turn our gaze to the Nemean lion, a fearsome beast whose hide was impervious to mortal weapons. With claws as sharp as daggers and teeth as long as swords, the Nemean lion struck terror into the hearts of all who crossed its path, leaving a trail of death and destruction in its wake. But even the mightiest of beasts can be brought low by a hero of extraordinary courage and strength. And so it was that Heracles, the greatest of all Greek heroes, set out to slay the Nemean lion and prove his worth to the world. Armed with nothing but his bare hands and his indomitable will, Heracles faced off against the Nemean lion in a battle that would test his courage and resolve to their limits. And though the lion fought with all its might, it was no match for the hero's strength and skill. With a mighty roar, Heracles seized the lion by its mane and strangled it with his bare hands, overcoming its seemingly invincible hide and emerging victorious. And as he draped the lion's skin over his shoulders as a trophy of his victory, Heracles' name was forever enshrined in the annals of Greek heroism. And so, dear friends, let us marvel at the power and the majesty of these legendary monsters and creatures of Greek mythology, whose tales are as captivating as they are terrifying. For in their stories lie the very essence of what it means to be human, to face our fears and overcome our challenges, no matter how great or how formidable they may be. And let us give thanks for the heroes who dared to confront these monsters, for their courage and their strength serve as an inspiration to us all. In the realm of ancient Greece, where gods and monsters walked the earth alongside mortal men, the symbolism and cultural significance of mythical beasts held a profound and enduring impact on society. These creatures, with their fearsome visages and awe-inspiring powers, were more than mere tales of fantasy. They were reflections of the hopes, fears, and values of a civilization striving to make sense of the world around them. Picture, if you will, the Hydra, a serpent-like monster with multiple heads, each one capable of regenerating if severed from its body. In the eyes of the ancient Greeks, the Hydra represented the relentless forces of chaos and destruction that lurked in the shadows of the world, threatening to engulf all who dared to challenge them. But it also symbolized the indomitable spirit of heroism and resilience, as heroes like Heracles bravely faced off against the Hydra in battles that tested their courage and resolve to their limits. As the people of ancient Greece looked upon the Hydra, they saw not just a monster to be feared, but a symbol of the eternal struggle between order and chaos, light and darkness, good and evil. And in the heroism of figures like Heracles, they found hope that even the most formidable of foes could be overcome with courage and determination. Next, let us turn our gaze to Cerberus, the hound of Hades, whose 3 heads guarded the gates of the underworld and prevented the souls of the dead from escaping. To the ancient Greeks, Cerberus represented the boundary between the world of the living and the realm of the dead, a guardian of the afterlife whose fearsome visage struck fear into the hearts of mortals. But Cerberus was more than just a monstrous guardian. He was also a symbol of the inevitability of death and the mysteries of the afterlife. As the people of ancient Greece gazed upon Cerberus, they were reminded of their own mortality and the need to live virtuous lives in order to secure a place in the Elysian fields beyond. And yet, Cerberus also served as a symbol of hope, for in his defeat at the hands of heroes like Heracles, the ancient Greeks found solace in the belief that even death itself could be conquered through acts of bravery and heroism. Now, let us journey to the land of Lycia, where we encounter the Chimera, a monstrous creature with the body of a lion, the head of a goat, and the tail of a serpent. To the ancient Greeks, the Chimera represented the chaos and unpredictability of nature, a creature of untamed fury and wild abandon. But the Chimera was more than just a symbol of the natural world. It was also a reflection of the fears and anxieties of the human psyche. As the people of ancient Greece looked upon the Chimera, they saw not just a monster to be feared, but a manifestation of their own inner demons and struggles. And yet, in the heroism of figures like Bellerophon, who bravely faced off against the Chimera in battles that tested his courage and resolve to their limits, the ancient Greeks found inspiration and hope. For in the defeat of the Chimera, they saw the triumph of human ingenuity and determination over the forces of chaos and destruction. But the Chimera was not the only fearsome creature to roam the lands of Greece. For in the city of Thebes there dwelled a creature known as the Sphinx, a creature with the body of a lion, the wings of an eagle, and the face of a woman. To the ancient Greeks, the Sphinx represented the mysteries of the human mind and the quest for knowledge and self-discovery. But the Sphinx was more than just a guardian of knowledge. She was also a symbol of the challenges and obstacles that stand in the way of human progress. As the people of ancient Greece gazed upon the Sphinx, they were reminded of the need to confront their own inner demons and overcome the trials and tribulations of life. And yet, in the heroism of figures like Oedipus, who bravely faced off against the Sphinx in a battle of wits that would determine the fate of his city, the ancient Greeks found hope and inspiration. For in the defeat of the Sphinx, they saw the triumph of reason and intellect over ignorance and superstition. Finally, let us turn our gaze to the Nemean lion, a fearsome beast whose hide was impervious to mortal weapons. To the ancient Greeks, the Nemean lion represented the untamed forces of nature and the primal instincts that lurked within us all. But the Nemean lion was more than just a symbol of nature's power, it was also a reflection of the courage and resilience of the human spirit. As the people of ancient Greece looked upon the Nemean lion, they saw not just a monster to be feared, but a challenge to be overcome through acts of bravery and heroism. And yet, in the heroism of figures like Heracles, who bravely faced off against the Nemean lion in a battle that tested his courage and resolve to their limits, the ancient Greeks found hope and inspiration. For in the defeat of the Nemean lion, they saw the triumph of human ingenuity and determination over the forces of nature. And so, dear friends, let us marvel at the symbolism and cultural significance of these mythical beasts and creatures of Greek mythology, whose tales are as captivating as they are timeless. For in their stories lie the very essence of what it means to be human, to confront our fears and overcome our challenges, to seek knowledge and self-discovery, and to find hope and inspiration in the face of adversity. In the vast tapestry of world mythology, where tales of gods and monsters weave together to form the fabric of human imagination, there exists a rich and diverse array of creatures that haunt the dreams and stir the hearts of mortals. Among these mythical beasts are the monsters of Greek mythology, whose fearsome visages and awe-inspiring powers have captivated audiences for centuries. But as we journey deeper into the realm of myth and legend, we discover that Greek monsters are not unique in their ferocity and power, they are but one thread in the rich tapestry of world mythology. Imagine, if you will, the Hydra, a serpent-like monster with multiple heads, each one capable of regenerating if severed from its body. In the annals of Greek mythology, the Hydra is a symbol of chaos and destruction, a fearsome beast that strikes fear into the hearts of mortals. But as we venture beyond the borders of Greece, we find echoes of the Hydra in other mythologies and cultures, where similar creatures lurk in the shadows, waiting to unleash their fury upon the world. In the ancient mythology of Egypt, for example, we encounter the serpent Apep, a monstrous creature whose goal is to devour the sun and plunge the world into eternal darkness. Like the Hydra, Apep is a symbol of chaos and destruction, a force of nature that must be vanquished in order to preserve the order and harmony of the universe. But perhaps the most famous serpent of all is the Midgard serpent of Norse mythology, whose coils encircle the world and whose venom drips from its fangs like rain. Like the Hydra, the Midgard serpent is a symbol of primal chaos, a creature of untamed fury and wild abandon whose very existence threatens the stability of the cosmos. Next, let us turn our gaze to Cerberus, the Hound of Hades, whose 3 heads guarded the gates of the underworld and prevented the souls of the dead from escaping. In the mythology of ancient Mesopotamia, we find a similar creature in the form of the demon Pazuzu, whose terrifying visage strikes fear into the hearts of mortals. Like Cerberus, Pazuzu is a guardian of the underworld, a creature of darkness and despair whose very presence heralds the coming of death. But Cerberus is not the only guardian of the underworld to be found in world mythology. In the mythology of ancient China, we encounter the fearsome beast known as the Tianguo, a monstrous hound whose howls can be heard echoing through the halls of the dead. Like Cerberus, the Tianguo is a symbol of the boundary between the world of the living and the realm of the dead, a guardian whose fierce gaze keeps the souls of the departed from straying beyond their appointed bounds. Now, let us journey to the land of Lycia, where we encounter the Chimera, a monstrous creature with the body of a lion, the head of a goat, and the tail of a serpent. In the mythology of ancient India, we find a similar creature in the form of the demon Rakshasa, whose fearsome appearance strikes fear into the hearts of mortals. Like the chimera, the Rakshasa is a symbol of chaos and destruction, a creature whose very existence threatens to tear apart the fabric of reality itself. But the chimera is not the only hybrid creature to be found in world mythology. In the mythology of ancient Egypt, we encounter the god Ammit, a fearsome beast with the body of a lion, the head of a crocodile, and the hindquarters of a hippopotamus. Like the chimera, Ammit is a symbol of chaos and destruction, a creature whose very presence strikes fear into the hearts of mortals. Finally, let us turn our gaze to the Nemean lion, a fearsome beast whose hide was impervious to mortal weapons. In the mythology of ancient India, we find a similar creature in the form of the demon Ravana, whose 10 heads and 20 arms strike fear into the hearts of mortals. Like the Nemean lion, Ravana is a symbol of strength and power, a creature whose very existence threatens the stability of the world itself. But the Nemean lion is not the only creature of great strength to be found in world mythology. In the mythology of ancient China, we encounter the fearsome beast known as the Pishio, a creature whose strength and ferocity strike fear into the hearts of mortals. Like the Nemean lion, the Pishio is a symbol of strength and power, a creature whose very presence strikes fear into the hearts of mortals. And so, dear friends, let us marvel at the similarities and differences between the monsters of Greek mythology and those of other cultures and civilizations. For in their tales lie the very essence of what it means to be human, to confront our fears and overcome our challenges, to seek knowledge and self-discovery, and to find hope and inspiration in the face of adversity. And let us give thanks for the rich tapestry of world mythology, whose tales continue to captivate and inspire us to this day. In the land of ancient Greece, where gods and heroes walked among mortals, there existed a rich tapestry of myth and legend that would forever shape the course of human history. But the legacy of Greek mythology did not end with the passing of the ages. It lived on, inspiring generations of artists, writers, philosophers, and creators to weave its timeless tales into the fabric of human culture. Imagine, if you will, the majestic temples and statues that adorned the streets of ancient Athens, where the gods themselves seemed to come to life in stone and marble. From the mighty figure of Zeus, king of the gods, hurling thunderbolts from his throne atop Mount Olympus, to the graceful form of Athena, goddess of wisdom and warfare, standing guard over the city she protected, the art of ancient Greece captured the beauty and power of the gods in a way that would endure for millennia. But the legacy of Greek mythology extended far beyond the realm of art. It also left its mark on the world of literature, where writers and poets drew inspiration from its timeless tales to create some of the greatest works of Western literature. From the epic poems of Homer, recounting the heroic deeds of Achilles and Odysseus, to the tragic plays of Sophocles and Euripides, exploring the depths of human suffering and redemption, Greek mythology provided a rich tapestry of characters and stories that would continue to captivate audiences for centuries to come. But the influence of Greek mythology did not stop there. It also left its mark on the world of philosophy, where thinkers like Plato and Aristotle drew upon its timeless themes and symbols to explore the nature of reality, the meaning of life, and the mysteries of the human soul. From the allegorical tales of the cave in Plato's Republic to the concept of the golden mean in Aristotle's Nicomachean Ethics, Greek mythology provided a rich source of inspiration for philosophers seeking to understand the deeper truths of the universe. And as the centuries passed, the legacy of Greek mythology continued to evolve, finding new expression in the world of popular culture. From the Renaissance painters who drew upon its timeless tales to create masterpieces of art, to the filmmakers and writers of today who continue to adapt its stories for modern audiences, Greek mythology has remained a vibrant and enduring part of human culture. But perhaps the true legacy of Greek mythology lies not just in its timeless tales and symbols, but in the way it continues to inspire us to this day. For in the stories of gods and heroes, of love and betrayal, of triumph and tragedy, we find echoes of our own lives and experiences, reminding us of the timeless truths that connect us all as human beings. And so, dear friends, let us marvel at the enduring legacy of Greek mythology, whose tales continue to inspire and captivate us to this day. For in its timeless themes and symbols, we find a reflection of the human experience, a testament to the enduring power of myth and legend to illuminate the depths of the human soul. In the heart of Western civilization, nestled between the peaks of Mount Olympus and the shores of the Aegean Sea, lies the ancient land of Greece, a land whose myths and legends have left an indelible mark on the fabric of human culture. But the impact of Greek mythology goes far beyond the borders of its homeland. It has shaped the very language, symbolism, and moral values that define Western civilization to this day. Imagine, if you will, a world without the words and phrases that trace their origins back to the myths and legends of ancient Greece. From the mighty thunderbolt of Zeus, king of the gods, to the labyrinthine maze of the Minotaur, Greek mythology has given us a rich tapestry of symbols and imagery that have become woven into the very fabric of our language. But the influence of Greek mythology extends far beyond mere words. It has also left its mark on the symbols and icons that pervade Western culture. From the olive branch of Athena, goddess of wisdom and warfare, to the caduceus of Hermes, messenger of the gods, Greek mythology has provided us with a rich tapestry of symbols and imagery that have come to represent timeless truths and values. And perhaps nowhere is the impact of Greek mythology more evident than in the realm of moral values and ethical principles. For in the stories of gods and heroes, of love and betrayal, of triumph and tragedy, we find echoes of the timeless truths that lie at the heart of Western civilization. Take, for example, the story of Prometheus, the titan who defied the gods to give fire to humanity. In his act of defiance, Prometheus symbolizes the human quest for knowledge and enlightenment, the belief that through courage and perseverance, we can overcome even the most formidable of obstacles. But the story of Prometheus also serves as a cautionary tale, reminding us of the consequences of hubris and arrogance. For in his defiance of the gods, Prometheus incurs their wrath and suffers a punishment that echoes through the ages, a punishment that serves as a warning to all who would seek to challenge the natural order of the universe. And yet, despite his suffering, Prometheus remains a symbol of hope and resilience, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit to overcome even the greatest of adversities. For in his sacrifice, Prometheus teaches us that true greatness lies not in the pursuit of power or glory, but in the service of others and the pursuit of knowledge and truth. But perhaps the most enduring legacy of Greek mythology lies in its exploration of the human condition, its timeless tales of love and loss, of triumph and tragedy, of hubris and humility. For in the stories of gods and heroes, of mortals and immortals, we find a reflection of our own hopes and fears, our own triumphs and failures. Take, for example, the story of Odysseus, the hero whose epic journey home from the Trojan War serves as a metaphor for the trials and tribulations of the human experience. In his encounters with gods and monsters, with temptation and adversity, Odysseus embodies the resilience and determination that lie at the heart of the human spirit. But Odysseus is also a flawed hero, a man whose pride and arrogance often lead him astray. In his encounters with the Cyclops Polyphemus and the sorceress Circe, Odysseus learns the consequences of his actions, the importance of humility and compassion in the face of adversity. And yet, despite his flaws, Odysseus remains a symbol of hope and resilience, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit to overcome even the greatest of obstacles. For in his journey home, Odysseus teaches us that true greatness lies not in the pursuit of glory or riches, but in the courage to face our fears and the determination to persevere in the face of adversity. And so, dear friends, let us marvel at the impact of Greek mythology on Western civilization, whose timeless tales and timeless truths continue to inspire and captivate us to this day. For in its exploration of the human condition, its timeless themes and symbols, we find a reflection of our own hopes and fears, our own triumphs and failures. And let us give thanks for the legacy of Greek mythology, whose stories continue to illuminate the depths of the human soul and inspire us to strive for greatness in all that we do. In the realm of ancient myths and legends, where gods and mortals mingle in a dance of timeless tales, there exists a power that transcends the boundaries of time and space, a power that speaks to the very essence of what it means to be human. This power is the ability of ancient myths, such as those of Greek mythology, to resonate with audiences across cultures and generations, to touch the hearts and minds of people from all walks of life with their timeless truths and universal themes. Imagine, if you will, a young child sitting by the fireside, wide-eyed with wonder as they listen to the stories of gods and heroes, of love and loss, of triumph and tragedy. In these ancient tales, they find echoes of their own hopes and fears, their own dreams and aspirations. They see themselves reflected in the struggles of heroes like Heracles and Odysseus, who must overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles to achieve their goals. They feel the pain of tragic figures like Oedipus and Medea, whose lives are torn apart by fate and circumstance. But it is not only children who are captivated by the timeless relevance of these ancient myths, it is people of all ages and backgrounds, from every corner of the globe. For in the stories of Greek mythology, we find a mirror held up to the human condition, a reflection of our own hopes and fears, our own triumphs and failures. Take, for example, the tale of Prometheus, the titan who defied the gods to give fire to humanity. In his act of defiance, Prometheus embodies the human quest for knowledge and enlightenment, the belief that through courage and perseverance, we can overcome even the most formidable of obstacles. But in his punishment, Prometheus also represents the consequences of hubris and arrogance, the dangers of overstepping the bounds of human knowledge and understanding. Or consider the story of Persephone, the goddess of springtime, whose abduction by the god of the underworld, Hades, plunges the world into darkness and despair. In her captivity, Persephone symbolizes the cyclical nature of life and death, of the eternal struggle between light and darkness, order and chaos. But in her eventual return to the world above, Persephone also represents the triumph of hope and resilience over despair and adversity. And then there is the tale of Odysseus, the hero whose epic journey home from the Trojan War serves as a metaphor for the trials and tribulations of the human experience. In his encounters with gods and monsters, with temptation and adversity, Odysseus embodies the resilience and determination that lie at the heart of the human spirit. But in his flaws and failures, Odysseus also reminds us of the importance of humility and compassion, of recognizing our own limitations and learning from our mistakes. But perhaps the most enduring lesson of Greek mythology is the realization that we are all connected, that the struggles and triumphs of gods and heroes are not so different from our own, that their stories are our stories, writ large upon the canvas of eternity. For in the tales of Greek mythology, we find a reflection of the human experience, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit to overcome even the greatest of obstacles. And so, as we journey through the hallowed halls of Greek mythology, let us marvel at the timeless relevance of these ancient myths, whose stories continue to resonate with audiences across cultures and generations. Let us embrace the lessons and insights they offer, the truths and values they embody. And let us never forget that, in the end, it is our humanity that binds us together, in a world filled with wonder and mystery, where gods and mortals walk hand in hand. In the vast tapestry of human culture, there exists a realm where gods and mortals mingle in a dance of timeless tales, a realm known to all as the land of ancient Greece. As we journey through the hallowed halls of Greek mythology, we are transported to a world where the impossible becomes possible, where gods wield thunderbolts and heroes embark on epic quests that defy the very fabric of reality. But our journey does not end here, dear friends, for there is still much to explore, many mysteries yet to uncover in the rich tapestry of Greek mythology. So I invite you, dear viewers, to continue your exploration of this wondrous world, to delve deeper into its myths and legends, its gods and heroes, its triumphs and tragedies. For in the stories of Greek mythology, we find a reflection of our own hopes and fears, our own dreams and aspirations. We see ourselves reflected in the struggles of heroes like Heracles and Odysseus, who must overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles to achieve their goals. We feel the pain of tragic figures like Oedipus and Medea, whose lives are torn apart by fate and circumstance. But we also find hope in the resilience of the human spirit, in the courage and compassion that lie within us all. We see the triumph of love over hatred, of light over darkness, of good over evil. And we are reminded that, in the end, it is our humanity that defines us, that binds us together as one, in a world filled with wonder and mystery. So I urge you, dear viewers, to embrace the lessons and insights offered by Greek mythology, to let its timeless tales inspire and uplift you in your own journey through life. and I invite you to join us on this wondrous adventure, to subscribe to our channel and share our content with friends and family, so that together we may continue to explore the rich tapestry of Greek mythology for generations to come. For in the stories of Greek mythology, we find not only entertainment and escapism, but also wisdom and enlightenment. We find a roadmap for navigating the trials and tribulations of the human experience, a beacon of hope shining brightly in the darkness of uncertainty. And we find a sense of wonder and awe at the boundless possibilities of the human imagination. So let us embark on this journey together, dear friends, and let us continue to marvel at the timeless beauty and relevance of Greek mythology, whose stories continue to captivate and inspire us to this day. Subscribe to our channel, share our content, and join us on this wondrous adventure through the hallowed halls of ancient Greece. Together, we will unlock the secrets of the gods and heroes, and discover the true meaning of courage, compassion, and resilience in the face of adversity.